Welcome, Gemini, to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 6th of November for the Sun or the Ascendant. It's been quite a practical dimension to your situation of late. The Sun, Mercury and Mars have all been housed in Scorpio, which of course is intense. It can resist change but also promote change. A bit of a challenging energy. However, for you, this represents House 6. So the practicality comes from the fact that House 6 likes us to take care of the details to make sure that things are running smoothly and efficiently. So not tremendously sexy, if I'm honest. You've also had Venus, the planet of relating, in a quieter, more reflective area. Could have seen you spending more time with family members or thinking about nurture. Perhaps if you're a crafter or a hobby maker, something's really been capturing your imagination there, or perhaps even some kind of decorative home improvement. But this week, your ruler Mercury, but also Venus, are going to be repositioning in your situation. But in the case of Mercury, not before it forges two other very powerful influences. At the start of the week, it links into Neptune. If you do work in an arena where you use your imagination or your instincts, this is an excellent combination. And your eye for a detail, but also the ability to feel into situations can be an asset. But later in the week, Mercury is forging a very penetrative link with Pluto. If you need to think about financial matters, for example, you can drill into it all with aplomb. But on Wednesday, Venus moves into the second of the two signs that it governs of Libra. Venus in Libra is very much about charm, equilibrium, balance, trying to find a greater harmonious point. But for you, it's House 5, which is about playfulness, sociability, flirtiness, perhaps giving yourself some kind of glamorous makeover over the next 29 days. But it could also see you going on a date if you're single, or having more social interaction, whatever your status. But later in the week on Friday, Mercury moves into Sagittarius. Now this is really interesting, technically debilitated, but for you, House 7, which is what Venus is very much about. So your ability to relate to other people, Venus in a charming way, but Mercury in Sagittarius, by working on your listening and explaining skills, can be enhanced, but there is a bit of a catch. And that catch lies in the guise of stern Saturn. And it's possible that you could encounter someone this week, someone in a professional situation or a line manager, an older person, someone who's more traditional, set in their ways, or wants to be authoritative in some ways influencing what you want to do, that you actually could find very restraining and very frustrating. And the reason for that is, despite your charm, despite your ability to get on with people, you are an ace communicator, and that is going to be emphasized this week. Something about the person you encounter, or about some of attitudes that maybe were invested in you many years ago, perhaps by your parents, can inhibit you from really flowing in quite the way you would like, because Saturn quincunxes Venus and squares up with Mercury. So it's important to understand that as much as you can emerge from this more practical time, there is potentially going to be a bit of a block fully going for it in a more playful way, if you let that other person have some kind of influence over you. Or, as I say, it could be some values that have been invested in you that are stopping you perhaps letting yourself go quite as freely as you could. Now, the other thing to tell you as the week draws to a close, we do have Mars very close to the Sun, but they're both in an opposition to Uranus. And it is possible, because Uranus is in your 12th house, that something that's been affecting your nervous system for a little while could come up again as this week draws to a close. So I think the main thing to understand is that Uranus is trying to provoke a higher knowledge, but in your case a higher knowledge about the more psychological elements of understanding yourself or life or people's motives. So there could be something that happens quickly towards the end of this week that seems like it's a pressure or some kind of a demand which you could feel resentful about. But try to stay cool. There is likely going to be an excess of nervous energy, but if you can focus on setting up some sociable, playful or enjoyable diversions, I think that's a great way to deal with the harsh reality that life sometimes does throw at us, and could do as this week draws to a close. Thank you so much for joining me. I'd just like to share with you, if you order your year 2024 personal horoscope forecast, you can get that 30% off with my special package as usual, but also you can get your year 2024 free zodiac forecast PDF, which goes out with my charts, so you'll get an idea of what the overall influences are for each of the zodiac signs for next year, as well as your own personal document, which is totally based on your unique birth data and completely unique to you. Please see the link below for more.